Thank you very much for the invitation to speak at this workshop. It was a good opportunity for me because by chance I was in Prague anyway to attend a conference. Actually, it's called the Power Generation Strategy Summit, which is a European conference on the future power investments, where all major energy companies meet to discuss their strategies. And the subtitle of the conference is a quote by John F. Kennedy. And it says, "The one unchangeable certainty is that nothing is certain or unchangeable." And the main topic at this conference was actually what is going to be the impact of renewable power on the conventional power generation. And I think this is a really important topic as it affects the strategy for investments who will be there in the next 30, 40 years. I will talk about a bit on the European perspective and then take a look at other member states of the European Union, what's their strategy on support policies. I was also asked to give some perspectives on the future cost reduction and on power grids integration. So quite an agenda, and I try to manage it in time. Okay, take a look at the European perspective. Some aspects have been mentioned already, so I will be short there. Renewable energy targets were first established in 1997, then further elaborated in 2001. And there was also a biofuels directive. And there were some target sets for 2010. For 2010, we can say we are not that bad. On the European scale, we almost met the target. And now what's interesting is the 2020 targets, and you've introduced these targets as well, due to the so-called 2020 directive. And this is going to be put into law by the member states. I don't want to repeat what you said, but I want to take a further look out up to 2050, because the EU decarbonization goal is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by 80 to 95% by 2050. And this is quite a new dimension now. And in the course of next year, the European Commission plans to present a comprehensive roadmap how to get there. And if we consider this goal and this time frame, we will see that there will be a lot of changes to come. If we look at the generation capacity on a European scale and what's the total annual production, we see that in the course of the next 40 years, great shares of the capacity will go out of operation. So they will need to be replaced by new capacity. As we have the decarbonization strategy, it's likely that most of the capacity will be replaced by renewable sources. So the question is, what kind of sources are that going to be? And according to the European Wind Energy Association, a large share of that is going to be from wind power. I just want to indicate that it's the importance of the investment we take today is quite severe to reach 2050 goals, as the plants that we build today will be there for 30, 40 years. So this has to be considered. From the European perspective, I will take a look now at what's the member states' perspective. And you've presented the Czech goal of 13% by 2020. This is, I would say, a little bit below the average of all countries. In Germany, we have 18%. But there are obviously also some countries who have a higher percentage. Part of the explanation is that they have a big share already. But I would say if you compare like Czechoslovakia and Germany, you have 6% right now. We want to go to 13. We have 6, and we want to go to 18. So it's a little bit more ambitious. But I think for both of us, it's not going to be easy. So this is the international comparison. Now we take a look back. What has been the financial expenditures for the support of renewable energy in the year 2009. And you see, and this is important also to mention, it does not affect electricity only, it also affects heat and transport. So what you can see from this graph, Germany has spent a lot of money to support renewable energy for electricity. Spain and Italy were also quite high. So the most attention was paid to the electricity sector. So the picture is quite inhomogeneous, and I think that there's quite some effort required if you compare this to the goals of for 2020 I presented earlier. What are the main support policies for renewable electricity? We have the feed-in tariffs, we have the feed-in premiums, so like a fixed price system or something that comes on top of the market price, quota obligations, tendering schemes. So there's quite a lot of variety, and you've elaborated already on some of those schemes. So a lot of policy instruments available to achieve those goals. For renewable energy heat, it's also various tools available, mainly investment grants and tax issues or other obligations. And don't forget about the transport sector. There we have quota obligations or tax instruments. So what is actually applied if we take a look at the European scale? What we can see is feed-in instruments are applied, I would say, in the most European countries. There are some exceptions. Quota obligations are used by Poland, Sweden, and Romania, and some countries use actually a mixture of systems where you combine like feed-in premium for small installations and quota obligations or green certificates for larger installations. In Germany, this feed-in tariff has been used for quite a long time, for almost 20 years now, and it was quite successful. On the other hand, we also see the challenges. So I wouldn't say it's not problem-free. We also have the photovoltaic issue, that we have paid high prices for photovoltaics, but we're going to adjust this, and we have been adjusted that several times already. So we are confident the policy will follow the cost developments, and we will actually keep the feed-in system because we think it's important to give the regulatory stability, but of course you have to think about what is the required payment.